the main issue we've got here was obviously your distance control was a slight issue. Ball was just travelling too far. If we look here on this left-hand one now, we sort of see the feet are slightly closer, so your feet are kind of aiming roughly on that line. So this just brings this right hip, right knee and right foot back. Just makes it a lot easier for you now to turn and rotate and get the golf club back as far as you do. Or once that golf club's gone back that far, you just created too much power. So if that was a lob wedge and it was 60 degrees aloft, or you twisted the club face open, then it might be ideal. But as we said, why make a swing to go 50 yards where you actually swing it 90 yards and add it's just too many variables to try and compute into your brain to get close to the flag, really. So if we can just simplify that, it'll be a lot easier, okay? So even though you felt as though you opened your feet out, they haven't opened that much. No, I wouldn't say open much more at the moment, but just in time, just gradually sort of move this foot round and just twist your left foot open. The left foot is opened out a little bit more towards this direction. So you're not sort of going Charlie Chaplin, obviously, but if I put my feet there now, both feet are forward, I just turn that left foot to say 10 o'clock. Okay? It will just open up the left hip a little bit and help you turn to the golf ball. But even with that setup there, you can see now the length of your backswing is so much shorter, yeah?
Yes.
So you're creating now, this is about 50 yards of power, which when you went back on this one, would have been about there now. So that's 50, 60, 65, 70. So when you've got 70 yards of power, now on the way down, you've got to go, right, okay, I've got to take 10 yards of power off or 20 yards of power off. We're trying to judge that on the way back down the golf ball. It's going to be very tough. You've got about half a second to compute that into your brain and go, right, what's 20 yards off this length backswing? I mean, just very difficult, yeah? I mean, if you're going to throw a ball to anybody, you would look at the person, how far away they are, and then your backswing length would merit how far you want the ball to be thrown. You would just throw it back as far as you could and then sort of and try and just prod it there. So the length of backs is always going to be the determining factor. And as we come through, we can just twist through the torso nicely. And again, nice control of that club because you've gone back less, your momentum is slower. You're still able to rotate your body fully because your feet are in a good spot, yeah? That's why the reason why we have our feet slightly open just helps us sort of twist that torso through. The one thing we don't want to do for chipping, or any shot for that matter, is stay down too long. The old keep the head down thing we hear all the time. You can see that as a fuller swing because you have more momentum and speed, which is to be expected, okay? But we want that body to be able to rotate, which you can see on this right-hand one, we've done very nicely, okay? So we are still using the body to rotate the club back and forth, but you're just creating less power. Your backswing length being shorter means you can kind of hit it as far as you like, and the ball then can land 40, 45 yards and roll out to your 50, rather than you going back and just creating too much energy, and then the way down, you've now got to try and judge, which is going to be a pure guess. You'll get reasonably good at it sometimes, but also if you're slowing the club down and the arms are falling, gravity now is going to have more of effect. So what you'll find, especially on the golf course now, if you catch anything behind the golf ball, it's going to go about 20 yards in there. And then, of course, if you're scared of hitting the ground a little bit, you're good enough, as a lot of people will be, just to miss that ground a little bit. And then, of course, we catch the middle of the golf ball and the ball across the green like a rocket. And now you think, oh, I've got too much power. Now I've got to try and take more power off. Yeah, you'll still go back as far as you used to. Now try and take the power off even more. Gravity's working more against you again. The club's going to stick in the ground. Now you've got to try and move. It's just too many things you're trying to sort of judge. It makes the game very, very difficult. Okay, so sort of narrower stance, smaller setup, and just bring that left foot back. So we're sort of taking it from sort of face on here with those feet. Just turn that left foot opened out a little bit to like sort of 10 o'clock, yeah? It just opens up your left hip and just enables a little bit more kind of movement through the golf ball there. And as well, it restricts your backswing length. So when you swing the golf club back, you just go, how far back can I go? I'll go back as far as I wanted to, yeah?
Would I have the same stance there for the pitching wedge as opposed to the gamble?
Every club, yeah, every club. And any shot you're playing that's not full. So anytime you've got to play a shot and you stand there and go, right, this isn't a full swing, I'm going to go back this far. I'm going to have this set up, yeah? So you're going to set up with these small shots, okay? So smaller shots, you want your feet to be open. And again, don't worry about the fact where your feet point, okay? Your feet can point any direction they want. They will not affect the direction of the shot.
Okay.
The club face hits the golf ball, okay? And I'll show you in a second when we hit a shot, okay? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So your setup is really the key thing. Showing that backswing off, okay?
Yeah.
Good stuff, right?